so much time listening to that fearful voice inside, and it wasn't even mine. I was trying to be someone I wasn't, carrying burdens, holding on to sadness. But now I see the choice is mine. The choice is mine. Now give me some of that joy, give me some of that peace. I'm letting go of that sorrow, I want me some of that happiness. I'm looking for the bright side, I'm ready for some good times. Give me some of that joy, give me some of that joy, give me some of that joy, give me some of that peace. I'm letting go of that sorrow, want me some happiness. I'm looking for the bright side, I'm ready for some good times. Give me some of that joy, give me some of that joy. Give me some of that joy, give me some of that peace. I'm letting go of that sorrow, I want me some of that happiness. I'm looking for the bright side, I'm ready for some good times. Give me some of that, I want some of that. Give me some of that joy. Please don't talk about me when I'm gone. Oh, honey, our friendship ceases from now on. Well, listen, if you can't say anything real nice, it's better not to talk at all. It's my advice. We're parting, you go your way, I go mine. It's best that we do. Here's a kiss, I hope that this brings lots of luck to you. Makes no difference how I carry on. Remember, please don't talk about me when I'm gone. Please don't talk about me when I'm gone. Oh, when I'm gone. I'm gone. Please don't talk about me. Oh, when I'm gone. Oh, please, when I'm gone.
Lately this world has broken my heart. So much is wrong, I don't know where to start. Call me naive, I truly believe tomorrow will be better. People I know are having it rough, hoping to stay courageous enough to dream of a day that's heading our way. Everything is better. Simple things, meeting old friends, watching snow fall down on the boulevard. Joyful song, good cheer. What better way to bring out the year? Lift up your eyes, wish on a star. Joy can be found wherever we are. Day after day, this much is true. My life is always better with you. Lift up your eyes, wish on a star. Joy can be found wherever we are. Day after day, this much is true. Whatever come, my life is always better with you.
Looky here, Sophrony, haven't got $1 on you in the state of California. If you'd like to know, I want a little girl to be all mine in the winter time. When the rain starts raining and the snow starts snowing, you sit up and you turn on the radio. Look at Jack, you better take it slow, 'cause the chicks are raring to go. Well, you reach under bed, you grab a jug, take a little nip and get ready to mug. Look at your girl, you kiss her and send her, make a holler, make a holler. Got some muggin', shoot the liquor to me, John boy. Take a tip from me, she's sweet and that's a throwing you be. Reach under bed and grab a jug, take a little nip and get her ready to mug. Look at your girl, you kiss her and send her, make a holler, make a holler. Got some muggin', shoot the liquor to me, John boy. Take a tip from me, she's sweeter, my sophronia bee. Yeah, she's sweeter. Oh, she's sweeter. She's sweeter, my sophronia bee.
The summer wind came blowing in from across the sea. It lingered there to touch your hair and to walk with me. All summer long we sang a song, strolled the golden sand to sweethearts and the summer wind. Like painted kites, the days, the nights went flying by. The world was new beneath the blue umbrella sky. Then softer than a piper man, one day it called out to you. That's when I lost you too, yeah, I lost you to the summer wind. The autumn wind, the winter winds have come and gone. Still the days, lonely days, go on and on. Guess who sighs his lullabies through nights that never end? My fickle friend, the summer wind. The autumn wind and the winter winds, they have come and they have gone. And still the days, the long, lonely days, go on and on and on and on and on. And guess who sighs his lullabies through nights that never ever end? My friend, the summer wind, the summer wind, the summer wind.
Looking for something, some kind of sign. Over the hilltop, stars were aligned. Feet started walking, leading me on by moon and stars singing this song. He was like heaven, sweeter than wine, ever so slowly passing me by, walking next to the waves, led by the breeze, caressed by the wind, watching the sea. And he sang this melody. We were so happy, we were like stars dancing next to the moon over the clouds. Now in my loneliness,
Hi, everybody, and welcome to opening day of the autumn meet here at the Great Race Place. We're racing 19 days, of course, culminating on the first weekend in November. November 4th and 5th will be the 2 days of the Breeders' Cup Championship event, and we're excited about not only that weekend, but of course this opening weekend as well. We've got 9 stakes races, 1 today, 4 tomorrow, and 4 Sunday. 8 of those are graded, including today, the Grade 3 Chillingworth, which will go as race 8 on our 9-race card. But besides all the important racing action, there's a couple of new wagers for the horse players as well. Let's take a look at those graphically and explain them. Of course, the first change to our wagering menu is the $1 pick six. That's right, a $1 traditional pick six. No more 20-cent jackpot, rainbow pick six, carryovers, anything like that. It's going to be a traditional pick six where everything gets paid out every day if there's one ticket or multiple tickets. And then, of course, there's a carryover if nobody hits it as well. So back to the $1 minimum traditional pick six, and a new wager here every race day at the Great Race Place. It's an all-turf pick three. Notice the minimum, $3 minimum. That's right. You got to sharpen your handicapping pencil. You can't spread in a lot of races because it gets expensive. $3 all-turf pick three will be on the last 3 turf races every day on the San Anita card. Today, those races happen to be races 5, 7, and 9. And, of course, we're excited not only for those new wagers, but, of course, one of the existing wagers, which is the Golden Hour pick 4 and the Golden Hour Daily Double. Golden Gate does not race today, so those wagers will be on Saturday and Sunday this weekend. The man calling all that exciting action over the next racing days is my seminar guest today. He's the voice of San Anita. His name, Frank Mirahmadi. Frankie, happy opening day. Welcome to the seminar.
Happy opening day to you, my brother. It's great to be here, and welcome to all the fans. Thanks for coming out and supporting the Great Race Place.
It's great to be home, let's face it. So, when you go back to school after a long summer, I think the teacher asks you, how was your summer? So tell us, how was your summer?
It was a great summer. Of course, I was the voice of Saratoga for the first time, and it was a tremendous achievement for me personally and professionally, and it was a challenge that we always thought it would be just because it's 40 days of high-pressure racing, and it was a challenging meet on many fronts, but I felt really good about it, very proud and very grateful, and it's there's no place like home, let's be honest. And so it's good to be back, but it's good to be here with that accomplishment. My dad, may he rest in peace, always said, when you do something, they can never take it away from you. It's on your past performances forever. So I'm very happy about that experience and very grateful for those who gave me a chance and for everyone who gave me a chance along the way to get there. And, without Santa Anita, there would be no Saratoga, and I know that. And so certainly it's good to be home.
You're an overnight success 30 years later. I don't know how long you've been calling the races, but off the top of my mind, that's roughly how long you've been calling the races, right?
A little over that. I've called 27 years professionally, and then the first race I called was in 1992. So after 92, then I did a fill-in again in 94 and 95, filled in at Hialeah for 4 days in 1995, and then got the job there to start my career in 1996. And so with that experience behind me, it was a long road and a lot of zigs and zags and, roads that one could never even imagine to get here. And then for that opportunity at Saratoga, I remember the first time I was there was the Great Barrington Fair when I was the voice there in 97 and 98, visited there and got that experience to see it. Never even thought about it as being a possibility. And then just as things, unfolded, you just do the right thing, keep your blinkers on, do a good job, try to stay out of trouble, which is what I try to do. And boom, here we are.
Well, you've certainly earned it. And one thing that struck me watching from afar, Frank, was basically how many people were surprised how good of a race caller you are. Obviously, horse players can be very provincial, right? They basically follow their own circuit. But, you've called major races, you've called the Breeders' Cup, and all of a sudden, these people back east, upstate New York and around the country are like, wow, Frank Mirahmadi is actually a good announcer. Were you surprised by that reaction?
I was surprised, but I'll tell you, the fan response was something that was very kind, and it's been the same. The East Coast fans are a very tough audience, and I experienced that at Monmouth Park. And when we had our Breeders' Cup here, Tom, in 2019, I felt that a tremendous amount of the people that came up to me were people from Monmouth Park and on the East Coast that I'd worked for years. And so I've had a good support base on the East Coast. I started, my race calling at Hialeah. And in fact, I didn't get the job on the Northern California Fair Circuit one time. And Larry Swartzlander, the boss there, said, you're an East Coast guy. And I sent him a picture of my California driver's license. Like, what are you talking about? And eventually I got that job down the road. But it was just funny how the first thought was that I was an East Coast guy. So to answer your question, the fan interaction is always something I really enjoy. I love meeting people at racetracks around the country. And certainly over there's a tremendous on track. It's kind of like it reminds me, as crazy it would seem, of Ferndale. I know that sounds Ferndale, Saratoga, Oaklawn, places like that are just
I
quick
call them
seasonal.
meccas.
Yeah, they're just places that people go to on an annual basis, and they enjoy that experience so much, and that it's kind of a reunion every year. And so to go in and to be able to please that crowd was something that meant the world to me. And believe me, it was exhausting. I needed every day off that I had since that time in order to get prepared for this. But look, Father Time is undefeated. We're all getting a little older. Everything's a little more, you limp in a little bit sometimes, a couple smelling salts to get going. But listen, it's all about, in the end, it comes down to one thing: celebrating winners. That's what I do for a living. And we had some big winners over there, and we're going to have a lot of big winners during this meet here. It's really great to be home. And this is, look, today we have that feature, the Chillingworth. And of course, it's a reminder that this used to be the Oak Tree meet, and Oak Tree was a very special time. In fact, on the commercials, Dave Johnson used to say, racing's autumn classic. And that's exactly what Oak Tree was referred to. And Alan Buckdahl called a lot of the Oak Tree meets during the times in which I really became a huge fan of the sport. And I've been in touch with him. We become friends. And it's just a pretty cool thing to be able to talk to and become friends with people that I looked up to so much growing up in this game. Dave Johnson, Alan Buckdahl, Trevor Demon is a very close friend now. And those are, to me, that's unbelievable to be able to experience that. And, when I walk in here every day, I try to think about some memory about, coming in here. And I remember one day, I was thinking about it today, that we drove into the infield, some of my high school buddies and I, and we missed a race. And we, they have the payoff screen on the roof of the main building that you could see in the infield.
And the odds board.
Exactly. Right. And we missed a horse called Good Taste winning. And I said, that leaves a bad taste in our mouth as we came in. So it's just, I was laughing to myself thinking about that today.
Flashbacks.
Exactly. I try to remember a different day, a different horse, a different jockey. And I try to share those experiences with as many fans, because especially the older fans, we remember those days in the early 80s, late 70s that were coming out here. And it's fun to go back in time and think of the horsemen and just everything, all the experiences. This is what it's all about. Life's a bunch of experiences, and you've enjoyed so many different tracks during your life. And I know that, you have special memories, obviously here and at Arlington Park and things of that nature. We celebrated your birthday a few years ago with a day at Arlington. Those are days that probably brought back so many memories for you. It's the same for me every time I walk into Santa Anita Park.
I know I speak for a lot of horse players, Frank, that would basically exude the same opinion that I have, that you did a fantastic job at Saratoga. But enough about that fluff. We've got like 90 seconds. Exactly. You talked about remembering horses. We want to know from you, are there one or two horses that ran at Saratoga that you're looking forward to perhaps playing in the Breeders' Cup this year at Santa Anita?
I won't be playing any of those horses in the Breeders' Cup because I'm going to be calling them right here. And I really don't need to be saying get up 6 and remind myself that was how I remembered a big race.
Give us some insight information.
Obviously we saw Arcangelo, and I just saw he arrived on the scene here.
They have video of him working on the main track today.
Yeah, he's a big, good-looking horse. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing him run again. And I wanted to also say that I thought Echo Zulu's performance was phenomenal when she won the Ballerina.
He's also on track here at Santa Anita preparing for the Breeders'
Steve
Cup.
Asmussen is here with all those great horses, and it's nice to see. And I'll be making my presence felt at Clocker's Corner in the morning to watch this meet. And the anticipation to the Breeders' Cup is a very special time here at Santa Anita, and it's great to see all these tremendous horses. But there are a lot of horses that ran there that are going to participate here, and we'll let the chips fall where they may. But the championships will be decided here at the beginning of November.
I've worked for 10 minutes, so it's time for me to take a 5-minute break. But unfortunately, Frank's got to keep working. He's going to give us the early changes on today's Friday's card. When we resume, we'll find out who Frank likes on today's card as well. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to opening day at Santa Anita Park. The track is fast and the turf course is firm with the rail on the turf at 20 feet. Here are the early changes. The first race is the start of the 50-cent early pick 5. Just the blinker note for number 7. Race 2 starts the early pick 4. No changes. In the third race, just a blinker note. The fourth race is the start of the $1 pick 6. The pick 6 now a $1 wager here. Scratch number 2, magazine. That was a program scratch. In the fifth race, we kick off the $3 all-turf pick 3 on races 5, 7, and 9. Also the start of the 50-cent late pick 5. Number 8, Anon, should be listed as a Ridgely. And scratch all the also eligibles, 11, 12, and 13. The sixth race is the start of the late pick 4. No changes in race 6. In the seventh, scratch number 4, Lone Scout. Race 7, scratch number 4. The eighth race is the Grade 3 Chillingworth Stakes. No changes in race 8. And in the ninth race, scratch number 4, Gaelic Nation. Number 4, Gaelic Nation is out. Note that the also eligible number 12 will participate. Those are the early changes for opening day. Enjoy your day at the Great Race Place. Post time for the first is in 58 minutes at 1 p.m. Right now, we'll take it back to Quigley's Corner and resume the seminar.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with Frank Mirahmadi. He's the voice here at San Anita, the track announcer. He'll be calling all the races not only today, but the entire 19-day meet, culminating with the Breeders' Cup the first weekend in November. I know you did the work, Frank. Is it good to be back home and kind of see some familiar faces, trainers, jockeys? I know you pay some attention to Del Mar, although your hours are certainly limited at Saratoga as well.
Got to watch.
It's only so many hours in a day.
Nah, but you got to keep watching when Del Mar runs, of course. And then I had a great chance to visit Del Mar, hung out with you a little bit.
On closing weekend.
Appreciate your hospitality down there at the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club, and had a good couple of days and refreshed. Stayed at Jennifer's sister's house. They live in some palace, so we felt like we were lucky not to have to check in with a credit card. It was a beautiful place, so we enjoyed that and hung out and certainly watched the Del Mar races. And it's nice to see these horses back here on track at our favorite track, and nice to see these connections and have had a chance to run into some of them and just welcome them back and congratulate them on their successes at Del Mar. And Del Mar had a great meet, which is very good for everyone.
They sure did. And even if you missed any Del Mar races, you're a big replay guy, right? As a handicapper, you really rely on replays.
Yes.
They're fundamental in terms of really determining who might win a particular race.
We're going to get into that in detail
sure
today. It'll be a perfect example to show that even when the chart shows accurately exactly what happened, it's better to still see it visually to understand why those comments came about. And there are a couple of examples today that I really felt were worth reviewing, just to at least look at and see for yourself, and then maybe encourage one to look at the replays. Because let's face it, when you get involved in betting horses, which I've done for a long time, you can get distracted and you can also get extremely sloppy. It's called screen to screen. There was a horse named after me for that many years ago. He didn't turn out to be much, which was fitting. But anyhow, he... screen to screen is a very dangerous thing, because you just look and you just try to make you're going to get run over and trampled. You cannot overcome the takeout without preparing. You have to at least try if you're doing this. And it's easier said than done, because I'm a guy who loves to watch replays, but there are times in which you don't want to go back and look at this and worry about that. And ultimately, the tote boards sometimes tell the story. It's kind of an efficient economy. It kind of, all the things out there, the sheets, the notes, the workouts.
They teach you in school, the market is always efficient.
There you go.
Right?
Yes, and if you're going to overcome that takeout, you need to pick winners.
Well, let's take a look at the card. Starting in race number 1, we're kicking things off on the turf course. 6 furlongs the distance. The rails today are 20 feet. It's a $32,000 claimer. Also begins the 50-cent early pick 5. We've got a field of 7. The morning line choice and the current betting choice on the board is number 6. Give Me the Lude, who's currently 8-5 on the board. Talk to us about race 1, Frank.
Tom, this was a race that I really felt was a toss-up between the 1 and the 6. The 1, Maven, having a tactical speed advantage, and then the number 6, Give Me the Loot, turning back to what may very well be a perfect distance of 6 furlongs. So I'm going to give the nod to number 6, Give Me the Loot. Just claimed last time out by George Papapadromo. This is a horse that has shown good speed routing. He used to sprint and was effective doing so at 5/8 and such. And so I think this distance hits him right between the eyes. On a 7-year-old, he's earned 300,000, and I'm going to give him a slight edge. But Maven could make you, cringe because he might get loose on the front end early on. And so I went 6-1 in that order. Number 2, Subsidize, is getting a little bit of play right now, and understandably so. He was making up some ground and is also claimed out of his last start. But I'm going to stick with the 6 over the 1 in race number 1. And let's see if Juan Hernandez can make a statement right away as to who you got to catch to be the leading rider.
There's no doubt about that. Number 1, Maven, is sired by an American Pharaoh. You called his victory in the Arkansas Derby. You were also in the winner's circle for his victory in the Kentucky Derby. You're a pedigree guru as well. American Pharaohs are doing very well on the turf, even though he never ran on the turf.
Yeah, they've been very, very efficient on the turf, and he is certainly coming with some nice runners, no question. And I think that's something you always have to pay attention to is his horses on the turf.
Race number 2, we're switching over to the main track. The distance is 6.5 furlongs. It's for fillies and mares, allowance optional claimers. Non-winners of 1 other than. Race 2 also begins the 50-cent early pick 4. We've got a field of 5. Speaking of Juan Hernandez, he rides the 3-year-old filly, number 1, Poetica. But the morning line favorite, according to John White, is number 2, American Lily from the Peter Miller barn. 2-1 on the morning line. Antonio Fresu got to stay. We're going to see him riding this weekend, which is good news for us as handicappers and horse players. Talk to us about race 2.
I'm going to give a slight edge to number 1, Poetica, but I will give you this one statement, ladies and gentlemen. Of all the angles and all the wagers I've made throughout many years of putting a $2 bet and higher in, horses that just broke their maiden, tackling winners for the first time, is a very ineffective way to invest your dollars. And I know that. Ineffective, I should say, a way to invest. It's very difficult to face winners for the first time, and Poetica is doing just that. I thought she won. It was okay last time. She was challenged by a long shot and eventually put her away. And I think she is a filly of quality. They did spend over $400,000 for her. Number 4, She's Resilient, is a well-named individual who has won 4 of 6 starts. She's extremely consistent. Won off the claim last time for, really a very effective combination of Les Blake and Steve Knapp. There's no reason that she can't come and win this race. And, the favorite, American Lily, drops in for 50. She broke her maiden for 50. She certainly fits in here, but I just thought that from a value perspective, I'd rather take the second choice here. So I went 1-4 in a race where anyone can win this. This is truly a wide open event, but I'm going to give the slight nod to Poetica. They spent good money for her. She was second in her second career start, put it together last time, and now she's going to have to, and she was acting up at the gate as well last time, as noted here. So maybe she behaves a little better and runs more effectively, and maybe that results in the ability to beat the winners.
Poetica's run 3 times in her career. This is the first time she's going to be ridden by Juan Hernandez. Juan Hernandez and trainer Pete Erden, when they team up over the last 18 months or so, they hit the winner's circle at a 57% win clip. Race number 3, we're back sprinting on the turf course. 6 furlongs the distance. Maiden special weight calibreds. A field of 7. There are 2 4-year-olds in the field and 1 5-year-old, but the morning line favorite is one of those 4-year-olds on the rail. Number 1, Grand Tiger, 2-1 on the board. Before we get your thoughts on the race, you teased this earlier about watching a replay. This is the first replay we're going to watch. It's the replay for number 5, Mana Rose, way back on November 27th. Don't roll the tape yet, but we're going to watch this replay, and Mana Rose in his debut is going to break from gate number 3. What was it about this replay that you wanted to kind of highlight and show, Frank?
Well, in handicapping this race, the dam, first of all, is all turf. So this horse is meant for the turf. Maybe it was just getting a prep in the debut. But as noted, the horse was a bit slow out of the gate, steady and rank, and had some trouble, but then eventually came alive. And so I want to show the whole race.
We're going to.
And this horse is now trained by Jeff Mullins. So first time Jeff Mullins is an effective angle, gets Lasix for the first time, is bred for the turf, and really has every right to move forward. The question is, does this horse need a little longer than 6 furlongs? And that is, to me, the only question mark, because the dam was effective and most of her good work was around 2 turns on the grass. But I still think that because this horse came alive late and with that experience, like if it was his first start, I don't know if I would really go with him. But in this case, I think with the race under his belt, and then he learned that he better finish at the end, and now has another chance to make amends for that. I mean, not make amends because he was 26-1, but maybe improve off that effort and potentially graduate in here. I'm I'm going to go with him on top. So let's watch this race.
Let's roll the tape. Juan Hernandez rode him in his debut. He's going to ride him today. As I mentioned, he breaks from post position number 3. He's also going to be in the purple silks. You'll see him drop back pretty sharply immediately. And then, of course, he'll pick things up late. We're going to watch the gallop out as well. So let's watch Mana Rose back in November.
Belly Up had a good start. Montana to the outside. Yo Time from the inside. These 3 are out the best, and Rhythm on Stage came out running in 4th, right in that leading group. Then Star Prospect, Regulation Dazed. Venom on the far outside. Buck Owens along the rail. Right there, too. Ship and Scam going up in between horses. Mano Rose in a bit of a tight spot up the backstretch. Going up outside of them. Do It for Dave and Hondo Crouch, last of a tightly packed field that went 22.48 for the opening quarter mile. Montana, just a slight lead on the far turn from Belly Up. Star Prospect rallies up on the outside, now up into second position. These 3 right across the track. Rhythm on Stage comes up to them 4 wide from 4th. And the 4 of them have kicked on 2.5 from Yo Time. Regulation Dazed and Ship and Scam to the outside. Coming to the top of the stretch, and it's Rhythm on Stage who comes wide and comes up on the outside to grab the lead. Battling on his Belly Up from the rail. Montana between those 2. Rhythm on Stage, Belly Up, and Montana. Now it is Belly Up who gathers momentum from the rail, and Belly Up is gonna do it by a length and a half on the wire.
Belly Up, a Cal-bred son of Into Mischief, believe it or not, but nevertheless, Mana Rose picked it up late, as you can see there on the far outside, Frankie.
That's him with the white blinkers, so he's going to actually come right up. And again, they don't pay for, at the 7/8 pole what ends up happening. But this horse did come alive. And if you think about when you watch the race, you could see, and as track announcer Larry Coleman mentioned, he was in a tight spot, and then shortly thereafter, he steadied and backed up. But in this race, let's face it, the top of stretches, there was a search party for this horse, nowhere to be found. But all of a sudden, at the end, he was finishing very nicely, and to the point in which he showed a lot of interest at the end, made up a lot of ground. And so what looked like a dismal performance really wasn't that bad. He had some trouble, and then he ended up picking it up. Again, the question is 6 furlongs enough distance for him to be able to be effective? I think with the race under his belt and the fact that he's bred for certain to enjoy the turf, I'm going to go with him on top. The horse I had originally picked on top before watching that replay was number 2, Touchdown Kittle. And I think, if ever there was a time when a horse needed some blinkers, it's right here. And that's Touchdown Kittle. Ran down the hill in his first start, took a vicious L when firing huge. And then last time out, the thing about this horse, and I'm just wondering if the blinkers and the experience will maybe help him. In the stretch, he really did not have a bad trip at all. He was in a good spot, and he just didn't have any oomph late. And maybe the blinkers will keep him more focused. He certainly has a right to improve, but I just thought that I wanted a little tiny bit more out of him in order to put him on top in this race. Maybe the blinkers will do the trick for him. Grand Tiger does have good speed. He got very loose, and the horse who beat him had come in from Golden Gate Fields and defeated him. And then if you're looking for a long shot, maybe the 6 and Teebs is the way to say that. Out of that mare that owner and breeder Keith Brackpool has had several runners from, including Mezet and some others. They've all earned in the range of between 20 and 60,000. And this horse by Smiling Tiger certainly has a right to enjoy the turf. But I'm going to go 5-2 in that order in race 3 and hope that this horse can break a little sharper, finish with a flourish, and then run to that dam side pedigree for the grass.
Race number 4 begins the new wager, the $1 pick 6. That's right, the $1 traditional pick 6 kicks off in race number 4 on today's 9-race card. We're going 1 mile on the main track. For fillies and mares, $16,000 claimers, non-winners of 2 races lifetime. Program scratch of the 2, the 5 remaining fillies are all 3-year-old fillies. Morning line favorite from the Bob Hesbar, number 5, Sweet Hello, 8-5 on the morning line, ridden by Edwin Maldonado. You're a big fan. I think the consensus is most players like the $1 traditional pick 6. You in agreement with that decision?
I absolutely love it. I'm stunned that we did it, and I'm very happy that we did it, to tell you the truth, because it's hard to turn down the enormous money that comes in that 20-cent pool. But believe me, this is for if you're a player.
It's going to be great to monitor, great to see how it all shakes out. Tomorrow we've got a tremendous card. Could be an only ticket, could be a carryover into Sunday. It's good to have it back because we remember the good old days.
Exactly. And that was a $2 ticket, and you always wished you could just add one more horse. Instead of single, you get 2 in a race. This is the way it should be, and I hope it stays. It would be rough if this ever reverted. I like it the way it is. This is a great bet for the fans. And look, I've seen this bet in New York for the last year and a half. There are a lot of carryovers on, particularly on weekdays. Over there, it'd be like 40, 50,000. That's a nice little way to be able to try to maybe make a bigger ticket when there's no carryover and try to be the only ticket winner. And I think that may hold true over here as well, that if you could just get a little bit of, price action in there, beat maybe one or two heavy favorites, you could be the only ticket winner on the days in which there is no carryover. And believe it or not, I actually prefer betting the pick six when there is no carryover as opposed to when there is, because when there is, there's much bigger tickets coming in. And therefore, you have a chance to maybe make a nice score as the only ticket or one of two or three in a pool like this. I think it's a fantastic thing, and it's very player friendly, and it's nice to see our company doing something for the fans, which is what we're supposed to do on a daily basis.
Absolutely. Now we need 6 winners in order to hit the $1 pick six. We need the first one in order to still be alive into leg 2. Who's it going to be?
This is a race that there are some very vulnerable animals in this spot, and so therefore I have to go with number 4, Miss K-Line, in this race, because one thing about her, I believe that she will finish up honestly. Good to see Kyle Frey back in business, and as well as Abel Cedillo back to work. But Miss K-Line last time, I mean, she was a very average third, but she was trying. I love the comment willingly. It's exactly what it was. She was trying at the end. She did break her maiden at this trip on this track by 5 lengths over maiden 40s. Sweet Hello's last race at Del Mar, she got away with the easiest lead ever. The fact she didn't hold second in that spot, I can't live with her. Sorry. And I'm against her. And then like no other, I mean, she was average. I think Miss K-Line maybe has the most honesty late. She'll be trying harder than the others in the end, but I'm not exactly going to put a major endorsement here in this race. This is a tough spot. Maybe Miss K-Line back home where she graduated with a little bit of, willingness to give her all at all times is a little better than this group.
Race number 5 is named in honor of the Horse Racing Women's Summit. That's right. We've held a Horse Racing Women's Summit here the last couple of days. Good to see everybody from around the country participating. I know you've been monitoring that on social media as well. It's a great program and a great thing that we do for the women in racing.
Absolutely.
And they've certainly got a lot out of the summit this particular year as well. Also, race 5 begins the 50 cent late pick 5 and the new $3 all turf pick 3. As I mentioned in the opening, the last 3 races at San Anita every day will comprise this all turf pick 3. Today, those races are 5, 7, and 9 with a $3 minimum. As you heard Frank say, in race number 5, we're going 6 furlongs in the turf course for maiden special weight Calbred 2-year-olds. Scratch the also eligibles. Leaves us with a field of 10. The morning line favorite, who's adding blinkers, is number 2, Potito from the Keith Brackpool, Carla Gaines production. 7-2 on the morning line. We're going to show the replay for Potito as well. Her last effort back on September 4th at Del Mar. She broke from the rail that day. Before we show the replay, what is it that you want us to kind of watch as we're watching the replay?
Okay, so when we watch this replay, this will be the second consecutive time that Potito is breaking from the rail. In the first time, he showed good speed and took the lead immediately and then got tired. Then he came back in race number 2 and he kind of ducked in right after the start and he was steadying for a while and he was basically out of it, taken out of his game, and he really had no chance. Now, in career start number 2, when they get to the top of the stretch, there's a point in which the winner, which was a first-time starter, Catman Sue, starts to rally on the outside. I think it's the 5 horse coming on the outside. And you'll see that Potito opted at that point to go inside. He didn't change leads, and he changed leads very late in his debut. So that's always a concern, even though the late, great Jack Van Berg one day told me in the Hollywood Park elevator he couldn't care less. And when a guy who's won that many races says, if they run fast, I don't care about what looks fancy and cute.
Ali Sheba never changed leads. If you go back and watch those tapes.
Ruffian never changed leads.
There you go.
So, but Potito, I'm not a horse whisperer, but he's got this a little bit of a reach with his stride. I'm not sure what that is. I'd like to ask Carla Gaines. So, it's not something that he's a homebred, but he's by grazing. I think he could like the grass. I'm going to pick him second because I'm going with a first-time starter on top. But I think that he has every right to improve, and I believe that his performance last time out, in which he was beaten a couple of lengths by another horse who's a major factor in here, so you could watch him too, number 4, Last Call Paul, going to the grass as well. All turf on the bottom side there. And he was actually going to be my original pick until I started digging a little deeper. But Last Call Paul is going to be the 6 horse in this same race that we're watching, the 1 Potito. So keep an eye on both, and you can maybe, assess what you believe was the best you saw out of both of them. Number 4 has some good early speed. Potito has more speed than he showed last time and will be able to do so with the blinkers today.
Let's watch the replay and listen to Trevor Denman describe the action back on September 4th for Potito breaking from the rail.
And away they go. Stay on the fence, broke fast on the outside. Burak's Reflection is right there. Now Helen's Son and Special Club come through down at the rail. Last Call Paul is right there as well. Potito wasn't fast into stride, but now pulling his way up to only be 3 lengths off the leaders. Racing in behind those two. Now behind Portito is Burak's Reflection. And then we drop back to Catman Sue, but the no more than 4 lengths covers them all. They head towards the 3/8 pole, stay on the fence on the far side at the rail. Immoral have we ridden along to stay there. Last Call Paul is still in contention too. Stolen Treasure a close up 4th. Behind that, Catman Sue in the red cap at the Rail Special Club. And then comes Mr. Shivas. They're at the top of the lane and stay on the fence now, going up to get the lead. Along the inside, we still have Mr. Shivas in there. On the outside of that, we have Stolen Treasure coming with a late run down at the Rail Special Club. And here comes Catman Sue flying. Catman Sue on the outside. Catman Sue got up to win it. Stay on the fence.
Talk to us, Frankie. What'd you think?
I thought Potito has a right to improve off that effort. I mean, I'm not like, dancing in the street for this horse, but I think that if he runs back to his debut, like you saw the trouble, he was done.
He's mentally immature is the way I would describe him.
Once he got cut off late, I mean, not really cut off. He was just in a bad spot. It was an unlucky situation. He called it a day, and then he just kind of
coasted
whatever.
home.
Yeah, it was not persevered with. He does get reunited with Umberto Rispoli, who was able to get him out of that rail spot in his debut, and you could believe that Umberto is going to get on his belly right out of the gate and try to get moving. The pick I put on top, however, is the one High King. I think this is an interesting first-time starter out of a mare. Look, one of the great losses in California breeding, in my opinion, was Tribal Rule. And he has a tremendous turf influence. Although this mare, Public House, wasn't a turf horse, here's the angle. There's Tribal Rule on the bottom. You got Tim Yakteen as the trainer. The Dam won her debut, maiden 50 at Del Mar, and one of this horse's siblings won a maiden special weight in Los Al first time. So certainly win early is in the pedigree line. J.G. Torrealba with a 7-pound weight break. Tim Yakteen. Hopefully this horse has some speed. If you're looking for another wild long shot to consider in here, I would consider the 6 Fleet Britado out of an interesting mare and a turf-winning sibling as well in there. And number 4, Last Call Paul, has good speed. And so I think that there are some horses to consider here. And my buddy Paul from Preps to the Pros has a Stella Mars sibling. Wanted to give that horse a little shout out to.
Frank's top pick, number 1, High King in race number 5. 6-1 on the morning line. Could be a very lucrative first-time starter, as he mentioned, from the Tim Yakteen barn. Race number 6, we're sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track for maiden claiming Calbred, fillies and mares in for a $50,000 tag. Race 6 also begins the 50-cent late pick 4. We've got a field of 7. Morning line favorite number 5, Just Is, who 2 races back just missed. And then now is the 2-1 morning line favorite with Hector Barrios in the saddle. What are your thoughts on race 6, Frank?
It's just, nothing that you can't see on paper here. The horse just missed, and then last time went to Los Al, was in there, but couldn't keep up with the winner.
At a higher level.
Ended up, losing in like another close battle for second, and now back to 50, back with her friends, and maybe good enough to win. 5-4 is the way I went in race 6.
Race number 7, we're going 1 mile on the turf course. This race is for $32,000 claimers, non-winners of 2 races lifetime. There is one scratch. Number 4, Lone Scout, leaves us with a field of 9, and number 10 on the bottom, number 10, I should say, Numero Dix, is the 5-2 morning line favorite. Could be a big day for Jeff Mullins if you're right up to this point. Frank, do you like Jeff Mullins here?
I do. More than just a hunch play. On the outside, this horse will be closing late. And I think maybe mows them all down. The number 1 Workday I thought was an interesting long shot here. Comes out of a race where the horse was absolutely drilled. So it should be noted that a couple of winners did exit there. This horse does drop in for 32, and more importantly, gets back to the turf. So maybe this is a deceptive. Just got to draw a line through that last effort, Tom, and maybe give this horse a little bit of a chance at a huge number. I also gave a little consideration to the 5 Developing the Way. I went 10, 1, 5 in that order.
Giving a look to the horse taking blinkers off, owned by our main man, Aiden Butler, number 7, 34 Coupe.
I didn't give him a shot in here, but if the boss wins, we're all happy. But I would say keep your money in your pocket.
Race number 8 is our feature race on the card. It's the Grade 3 Chillingworth Stakes, $100,000 guaranteed, 6.5 furlongs in the main track for fillies and mares. Note, if you have a good memory, Cece won this race the last 2 years. 2 years ago, she turned that victory into a victory in the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint for trainer Michael McCarthy and jockey Victor Espinoza. We'll see if the morning line favorite, number 5, Ida from the Bob Baffert barn, could perhaps do that this year. She's on a 7-race win streak. She's looking to make it 8 in a row in today's 8th race. 4-5 on the morning line. Not much price. Single or looking elsewhere?
I've just been a fan of Kirsten Bosch ever since her debut.
You sure have.
Even
documented with me.
I said to you, I said it in the race call. I said, this is one to watch in the future. And she has turned into quite a nice animal. And she's going to be an amazing broodmare. She is gorgeous. When you look at Kirsten Bosch on the track, I mean, when she comes out, and Keith Abraham's bred her, and I would imagine he's not going to let go of her either, because when you look at her, that she's going to be producing some more babies down the road.
And she's earned close to $500,000 just as a 4-year-old.
She's nice.
Plenty of races left in her career.
Ida has won so many in a row. She finds a way to win. What is that? 7 in a row, looking for number 8 right now. So she's obviously the prohibitive favorite for a reason. And another horse you have to consider in here is number 4, Elm Drive. Elm Drive was giant when she won the Monrovia, which was taken off the turf.
She was giant last time in the Clement Hirsch. Turning for home, she had a big look as she, basically was fending them off.
I would
found the distance a little bit too far.
I would use 3, 4, and 5 if you're going to play the pick 6 and take a shot here, because if you could beat Ida, it's going to change the entire dynamic of that payoff in dramatic fashion. So maybe a lot of people will stack up their ticket early and just try to get home with Ida, and it's hard to argue with Ida because all she does is win, and she hasn't. Once she ended up, getting her maiden broken, that was the end of that, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. No, she had broken her maiden through disqualification. So she got that win, and then she rattled off 7 in a row. So there's nothing to fault other than the fact that eventually they all get beat, right? Eventually, and she's carrying a $126. So are the others that are I just think Kirsten Bosch, if she can get any kind of pressure, on the front end, like Elm Drive is not exactly going to lay down for anyone. She is tough. So if she fights with Ida and maybe just takes a little of her starch away, maybe those embattled leaders meet the big Kirsten Bosch in the center of the track at a big number.
That extra half furlong could come in handy for Kirsten Bosch, as you mentioned, Frank. We close out today in race number 9. Keep in mind, tomorrow we've got 10 races, as I mentioned, 4 stakes races. Our 10-race card tomorrow will also start at 1 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. For race number 9, scratch the 4, Gaelic Nation. That means number 12, Bolt's Destiny, will run. We've got a field of 11. This is a maiden claiming race for $62,500, going 1 mile on the turf course. The lukewarm morning line favorite, number 10, Autoline, from the John Sadler barn at 7-2 on the morning line. Before we get your thoughts on the race, and I think you like this same horse, Frank, I wanted to have our audience watch the team drill for number 2, 6 Magpies. We're going to watch it right now. It's a team drill in company back on September 24th over the training track, and you'll notice that 6 Magpies is going to be on the outside. I don't wake up at 4 in the morning to come out and watch the workouts, but I don't have to, courtesy of our friends at xbtv.com, because we can watch them right here like we're doing now. And one of the things I look at when I'm handicapping and trying to evaluate workouts is the movement of the exercise rider's arms. And as we continue to watch this workout, just watch how flawlessly, in my opinion, 6 Magpies is going to work here without any urging at all from the exercise rider at all. It's the one with the gray cap on the outside. And I just thought that basically 6 Magpies was basically going to, I should say on the inside, basically going to draw away from this field very impressively. So to me, Frank, first time Lasix, first time blinkers, Maldonado, inside post. To me, it basically just kind of, for 4-1, I think, is a gift on 6 Magpies. If in fact he can run back to this workout, what were the reasons why you liked him on top?
I never looked at this workout, and I do appreciate what we do at XBTV, and I love that. Look, if the fans out there love these workouts, you can open up an account with First Bet or Express Bet and show your support for the people that are giving you this stuff for free. And certainly you also get great analysis from Jeff Siegel on the website and some of our other
on-air
contributors. Correct. Yep. But so if you want to be thankful for this, you can put your wagers through First Bet and Express Bet. 6 Magpies. I thought that race last time out was a race in which the horse was off slowly, but the winner came back to win a nice race, the Mathis Mile, and then the 5th place finisher also came back to score. And I just, when you look at my second pick is an 0 for 11 horse who has seconditis. So in that case, if 6 Magpies with the addition of Lasix and blinkers maybe gets there for Neil Drysdale, Hall of Famer, and those very famous colors of Team Valor International.
Frank, you're a busy man. You've got a busy day, busy weekend, busy month ahead of you, but thanks so much for your time and insight today. Nothing but continued success, not only here at the Auto Meet, but of course the meet we're all looking forward to, the championship meet starting the day after Christmas.
Thank you, Tom, for having me. It's a pleasure. Welcome to opening day. Thank you for everyone for coming out. And thanks for those of you, we probably have a bigger audience even than we should because the East Coast is experiencing some weather difficulties. We're glad to have you on board, and hopefully we gave you a couple of winners along the way.
Thanks to all of you for watching. We'll do it all over again tomorrow, 11:50 a.m. Pacific time. Brad Free's going to be my seminar guest. Until then, good luck, everybody, and have fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we direct your attention to the flagpole in the infield and ask that you please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park on opening day. The track is fast, the turf is firm, the rail on the turf is at 20 feet. Once again, here are the changes. The first race starts the early pick 5 with no scratches or jockey changes. The second race begins the early pick 4. No changes in race 2. We have a blinker note in race number 3. And in the fourth race, a program scratch of number 2 Magazine. The pick 6 is now a $1 wager. It's a $1 pick 6 here at Santa Anita Park. And it starts with the fourth event. In the fifth race, number 8, Anon, should be listed as a Ridgeling. The fifth is the start of the all-turf pick 3, races 5, 7, and 9, as well as the 50-cent late pick 5. Scratch the also eligibles 11, 12, and 13. Race 6 kicks off the late pick 4. No changes. In the 7th, scratch number 4, Lone Scout. Race 7, take out the 4. The 8th race is the Grade 3 Chillingworth Stakes. No changes. And in the 9th, scratch number 4, Gaelic Nation. Note that number 12, Bolt's Destiny, will run. Enjoy your day at the Great Race Place. Post time for the first is in 25 minutes at 1 p.m.